We are back for our totals breakdown for Sunday, October 29th. Much better day yesterday. We really should have gone 5-1 with our totals. We ended up 4-2 because Chandler couldn't hit a couple free throws at the end of that Denver game, and Portland took him to overtime on one of those last second shots that kind of hurts you sometimes. But you got to think about the other day we had to have Oklahoma City and Phoenix go to overtime to hit our over, so it all kind of works out in the end. But that would have been nice to really have a great 5-1 day. Well, at least right now, I'm saying it's going to be 4-2. Portland, Denver, they just went over because with my time frame getting this video out, looks like Sacramento and Minnesota are headed for the over unless they have a really bad fourth quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and make this video like we were 4-2 yesterday on our totals. All right, let's go ahead. Let's start breaking this down for Sunday. We got some interesting matchups, and let's take a look at this. So first, we're going to have Utah versus Los Angeles. This is actually a play I have on one of the sides. Sides have still not turned around for me, but totals seem to have. Utah and the Clippers, we're going to go under the 196. Right now we have them at Bookmaker. 2 out of the last 3 times these teams have played, like last year, they went under this total. There is no Hayward for Utah in this game, and Utah traditionally is a slow-paced team, although they're allowing 100 points and giving up 101 points in their first 2 games of the year. But that was to Portland and to the Lakers. And this is an interesting matchup here where they match up well, I think, with the Clippers, and they seem to play them to a real more of a grind out type of style as looking at their totals, the last few times they played. Also, Utah, they've only allowed 42% on their 2-point shooting. They're averaging 78.5 attempts per game, and that's what we're going to see from them. They're going to be one of the lower attempts per game shooting teams in the league. The Lakers, they got up 91 versus Portland in that nice win. However, that was versus Portland, a team that really likes to get up and down. Utah's not going to be that way, so I'll be really surprised if this one gets over that 196, and we're going to go ahead and take under the total with the Clippers and the Utah Jazz. All right, let's look at Milwaukee versus Detroit over 193.5. That's across the board. Check SBR. Very interesting line here. And the reason why it's so low is because traditionally these teams, not traditionally, the last couple times they played last year, they stayed under this total. They played some really low scoring affairs, but I don't think that's how they're rolling this year. We got Detroit, their last matchup. They scored 108, versus the Magic. They got some good tempo going. Milwaukee, they put up 110 versus Brooklyn. Now they're coming off a back-to-back, so it might be a little bit tougher on them. But this is a really low total, and you would think they would stay under, but I think they're going to really get over this, and we're going to see it somewhere around 200. So look for something like that in this game. We're going to go ahead and take a shot here on over the total with Milwaukee and Detroit. Next up, we got San Antonio and Miami under the 195. That's at Heritage Sports. That Milwaukee-Detroit, we had them over 193.5. That was at Bet Online. We had them right there, but that was kind of the number across the board. All right, I digress. Back to San Antonio, Miami under the 195 at Heritage. Last year, when they matched up, Oddsmaker set their lines right around this number, 196, 196.5. And last year, the 2 times they did meet, they went over this total. But I don't see that's going to happen in this matchup. You got San Antonio coming off a back-to-back where they played New Orleans yesterday, really shut them down, as I predicted. And I look for more of that style of play versus Eric Spoelstra and the Heat tonight, where they're going to have more of a grind out affair. So that's why the number is just a little bit lower than what they said at last year, 196.5. Now it's 195. I'm going under. I think these two teams are going to grind it out. San Antonio, it seems like when they play a back-to-back, they really, it's early in the year, so I don't want to say anything just yet because I'm not really sure how they're going to be progressing, what Popovich has up his sleeve as far as when they play those back-to-backs, because he always does something a little bit strange sometimes. But it's so early in the season, probably they're just going to get right after it. Still, I like for both these teams to play some good defense. Miami really had a bad second half the other night versus Charlotte. I don't see that getting much better against San Antonio, so we're going to take under that 195. And like I said, right now it's at Heritage. Next, we got Dallas and Houston. Now, we had over the total when they first met earlier this season, just the other night, not long ago. And we're going to go over the total again. Right now it's at 216.5. And that's pretty much across the board at SBR, so check the lines on that. Now, Dirk looked like he's okay. He's going to play. At least that's what I assume right now. What really surprised me on the last game is, Houston winning wasn't such a surprise. I mean, they got some talent. Um, but wow, the attempts were really low, and they still combined scored over 200 points. Houston got up just 70 attempts. That's not a Mike D'Antoni team. So look for them to be, to get up tempo even more tonight. But they shot 47% from the floor and from distance. So that really, that's more of what we want to see from Houston. I don't think they're going to shoot 47% tonight again. I mean, from distance at least, that's really high. But I think they're going to pick up the tempo now that they get to be at home in this matchup. Dallas should be able to run with them. They did not shoot the ball well, 44% from the floor and just 27.6% from distance. They're a little bit better than that. With Dirk tonight, that should really help them out to spread out the floor. This should be up and down. We should get to that over what we anticipated in that first matchup. So over the 216.5. And finally, our last game of the day. This is just a fun one. I'm going to throw it out there. You got Phoenix and Golden State. I'm going to go over the 225. I mean, that is a ton of points, but let's have some fun on this one. Amazingly enough, 3 out of the last 4 times these teams have played, and their makeup is pretty much the same. They've gone over this total, and considerably so. So I'm going to go ahead and look for Phoenix and Golden State. Phoenix scored 40 points in the first quarter versus Oklahoma City. Golden State's going to run. I don't think they've gotten into their defensive groove yet. Once they do that, they're going to be really tough because Steve Kerr knows defense is what's going to, elevate them to that championship caliber team. They already have the talent, but they were mentioning the other night on ESPN how talent's not going to be enough and whatnot. And we all know that. I mean, you got to play great defense in the NBA to go ahead and win championships. That's pretty much, that's almost set in stone. Tonight, though, I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think we're going to see any defense. I think they're going to have a lot of fun, and they're going to get up and down the floor, and we should really see a really fast-paced, lot of scoring. So over the 225, I hate doing that too because that's a lot of points, but what the heck, we'll have some fun with that one. Let's see if we can cash that as well. So again, quick recap, we got Utah, Los Angeles under the 196, Milwaukee, Detroit over the 193.5, San Antonio, Miami under 195, Dallas, Houston over the 216.5, and Golden State and Phoenix over the massive 225. So those are our totals picked. Again, we had a winning day yesterday. Let's see if we can carry that over into today and have a winning weekend. And I wish you guys luck on your picks today. Check SBR for the best lines.